It's go time 2026. We're going to talk about some very shocking statements by Edgar Cayce. Why do I say shocking? Because now we are going to look at our predictions and our future completely different than we ever have before. Go time means 2026 kicked off the golden era that's going to change your life and mine. You're going to hear some shocking things today that I never knew about Edgar Cayce. Not only are these predictions and prophecies shocking, but if you choose, this will expand you into an area you never imagined possible. And things are going to change in your life and on this planet that are going to blow our mind. And it's already started. Are you ready? Let's talk about that mind-blowing dimension that we're stepping into that is our future. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. There's a lot of negativity out there, isn't there? I wanted to create a channel where you knew that everything is exactly the way it should be and that it's all amazingly good and that you do not have to fear anything. But more than anything, I want you to know that it's because you and I are creators. We are actually understanding that now more than anything. And Edgar Cayce and Dolores, who gave predictions through their various ways of sharing information, had another side to them about how all of this works. Because as you know, people like Baba Vanga, Nostradamus, and we've seen other prophets and predictions, basically are saying the same thing over and over again. What does that mean? We're going to talk about that right now. So I hope that you'll subscribe. And if you like this channel, give me a thumbs up. That's one of the most important ways you can support me. My membership is open. That link is here in the description. My members are in there talking to me and getting these videos days before the general public. We're going to have live videos and we're going to have some very deep discussions because it's time for us to speak about this. So today I'm going to discuss Edgar Cayce views on life outside of Earth. They're actually one of the most complex and debated parts of his work. And now we're talking about it. This is going to be a mind-bending video for you because they challenge the standard aliens and spaceships or what we are as humans or what the 3D world is. What's 5D? We're actually going to cover all of it. Predictions are a snapshot of a timeline that the viewer saw at a fleeting moment. All these videos that I shared with you, and I've compared those predictions, these catastrophic predictions, were true for the viewer at that moment, if they were legit at all. At that moment, they were true and they were a reflection of the collective consciousness at that moment. Therefore, they were actually warnings. That's all they were. They were not predictions of what is in stone. And some of these timelines are supported by the collective, but that is changing. All right. So if you had 10 prophets saying the exact same thing, they were tuning in to the collective at a moment in time. And a lot of them have changed because we're changing constantly. And so now we're going into an era where you're realizing, I don't have to listen to any of that because we're actually doing it. And some of you said, that means if we can change the future, we can change it to be anything. And the answer is yes. And so ye are all guides. These things you shall do and more. Walking on water, coming back from the dead. And now we're going to see it differently and realizing we are not separate from that. And those messages have been given to us through the centuries. We're finally starting to listen. So this video is going to support, through Cayce, free will. And this is so important because 2026 actually kicks off the golden era and it's going to accelerate and our heads are going to spin. And the more you look into this and claim the three most powerful words, I don't know, you open yourself up to that unlimited space where human beings in 3D form can't possibly know. We're not designed to know because if we knew, we would spontaneously combust. Why? We can't comprehend. We're not meant to. We're meant to experience a low frequency adventure. That's it. Why? We learn, we make choices, we understand this and the choice of this and the consequences of all of it. There are consequences to everything. So you need not concern yourself with your neighbor, tell them what to do, or boss everybody around because your ego says this is how things are. You're going to let things go and realize everyone has a choice. Allow it, accept it. And this is a dense world. It doesn't make it easier. In fact, the more enlightened you become, the more difficult it is to be here because now you are so separated from that pain or behaving in that way that it's actually painful to be around this density that is totally unnecessary, yet necessary for who's choosing it. The way that we change it is to shine our light and to be the walking example of what this planet can be. And when you do that, you will transform everything. Now, it doesn't take many people. We only need, what, 8 to 10%, I don't know who came up with that percentage, to shift the entire planet to a new Earth. It doesn't mean that they, lower ego dense beings, will experience that new Earth. They may continue to stay in the lower Earth, but the timeline's going to open up for those who choose the penthouse, the higher frequency, and they will experience something completely different. They will not even be aware of the worst of the worst. I want to just say something before we continue and we go deep into this. There will not be a World War III. What we're going to talk about today is that because we're such a vast neighborhood, because we are so unlimited in what we are in every form, that we affect everything, and that no one dense, and I think we're the densest planet, will be allowed to interfere with the free will of other planets by blowing itself up. That is the only time that they will step in. Right now, we're just being monitored. Some of them care about us, some of them don't. We're going to talk about what they are. So we're going to talk about the no physical aliens shocker in a specific reading, and I'll read this to you. 440-1. Cayce was asked point blank, are any of the planets other than Earth inhabited by human beings or animal life of any kind? The answer is no. You might be blown away by this. This might be like, what? That's not possible. He predicted reincarnation, the Akashic records, all these things. How is this possible? We're going to explain because now this might blow your mind. This is mind bending for me. All of a sudden, we're not looking at everything as aliens, ghosts, and anything separate. We're looking at complete frequencies that blend into one another and have individual choice within the massive game. Many people assume Cayce, a supposed psychic, would jump on the alien bandwagon, but Cayce claimed the Earth is the only place in our solar system where life exists in a physical, flesh and blood, 3D state. I believe that. I believe that there's no reason to go below what we are. And this whole planet's loaded with this. So let's talk about the planetary sojourns. What are we? Because once you understand this, you're going to understand that you can create and are creating. So creating, manifesting isn't something you do when you decide to do it. It's happening 24/7. You're always expanding and creating. All of us are. We're always transitioning, changing. Every moment, cells die and renew. And that's happening. What we want to do is control the frequency of that because the higher frequency is going to bring stuff into your life that's going to blow your mind. I really mean this. I've experienced it. So if you are in a position where you want to raise your frequency and you're not connecting to other people, talk to the hand. Do what you can do to improve the world. And if people want to come on board with you, then it will be their choice. And that is how you make a difference. So let's talk about the planetary sojourns. Life is energy. Now, Cayce denied physical life outside of humans. He claimed other planets were absolutely teeming with life, not just the way we can see it. So he taught that between lives on Earth are souls, a sojourn on other planets like Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. This is why we don't see things over there, although we will talk about Mars in a future video. However, we don't live on the surface. We inhabit those planets as conscious energy in higher dimensions. So when we go to other planets, we're just participating in that form. You don't have to believe this. I actually do. All you have to do is know that if you've ever seen a ghost or an orb or anything else, you know it's just an energy form. People who've claimed to see aliens, extraterrestrials, sometimes they float, they go through walls. They are not in the same 3D level as us, so they don't exist as 3D flesh and blood humans. Each planet is like a university grade. This is why we do this. For example, a soul goes to Jupiter to learn about nobleness and large scale thinking, or Venus to learn love and beauty. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? So people often misquote Cayce to claim he predicted aliens. He did not. In reality, he was describing a multi-dimensional spiritual system, not a galactic federation of physical beings. Yes, a galactic federation, there's groups of all kinds all over the place on all levels. There's not just one of anything. So let's talk about star children and cosmic origin. Some of you say, I'm a star child, and I'm saying, we're all beautiful star beings. But Cayce often referred to humans as star children. He claimed that human souls did not originate on Earth. I'm absolutely 100% on board on that, but entered this material realm from the cosmic mind. We are essentially extraterrestrials who've forgotten our origins and become trapped in physical bodies. Oh, you're using the word trapped. I don't think trapped. I think it was a choice, right? Nobody traps you if you're part of the one and you're equal. All right, but we can trap ourselves through our density. And supposedly there's going to be a man of gold that appears here. A lot of people have said that it's, President Trump. Others have said it's going to be a second coming of Christ. I don't know what that means, but I do believe there's going to be a figure that shows up. And I want you to remember, every video I talk about is we're never looking to any one thing to save us or do anything for us. That's when we get in trouble, is when we hand our power and our beliefs over to somebody that says, this is how things are. And I want you to think for yourself on this channel. The whole point of you being here is to decide what's right for you and not to argue it with other people. You can believe it. What do I think? I think it's everything. I don't think I have any one answer, but I am staying open-minded, and I suggest you do at least for a time period so that you can gather the information and then make up your decision. I say I don't know, and if you got those of you who've read my book, you know what the last chapter is? It's called The Knowing. You don't ask questions anymore. You don't need to know. It's not even important. I'm going to talk about the Arcturus connection. Cayce mentioned one specific star system outside of our own, Arcturus. So let's talk about his reading. He called Arcturus the developing center, or the gateway, through which souls pass when leaving our solar system to enter other parts of the universe. This is a high volume search term in spiritual circles. Starseeds, right? Why? People believe they are from other planets. And so maybe it's not in the way you think. Maybe you're a starseed sojourning through the gateway, coming here with your own purpose to raise the frequency of this planet. So most people think Edgar Cayce predicted aliens would land. He actually said something much more strange. There are no physical aliens in our solar system. We are the aliens. We are the spiritual beings sojourning through the planet. So he doesn't mean aliens like the Greys or whatever. He means that we are foreign to this and we are just visiting, but in a 3D form. So if Cayce's right, aliens aren't really coming from sky. They're coming from other spaces and dimensions in a higher form. It doesn't mean all of them have the best of intentions. I think they do, because I think they would have taken us out by now if they weren't of a higher frequency. However, we're our own worst enemies, and this is why all of us, you watching this right now, have to focus 100% on everything's coming out of your mouth, your beliefs, everything you're putting in your mouth, what you're using, and it starts today. Those of you who've seen my description know that I'm listing all kinds of things for you down there that will help clean up your body and detox this planet. Once again, it comes back to free will. We aren't waiting for a man of gold or a gray alien to save us. People want disclosure. What's that going to do? If there are people in fear and our government comes up with disclosure, it's going to shut down the entire financial industry. That's exactly what's going to happen. People freak out. I don't think the majority of people are ready for this. I believe that we are the creators, and we're going to create a future right now that's going to be totally focused on unity, community, love, compassion, and solving the problems that we created. We were given this planet. We came to this planet that's perfect. And we went into ego and destruction. We now have the opportunity through this power. That's all we need to focus on, not what Baba Vanga said or somebody else that you think is right and has an accurate prediction rate. Is irrelevant. We can change it anytime. If you don't like something, don't entangle with it. your focus entangles, and so that wave, that probability becomes a particle physical in the world, and it is happening that quick with us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Cayce predicted that the Battle of Armageddon would be fought in the spiritual realm first. This is crazy stuff. The Battle of Armageddon would be fought in the spiritual realm first before manifesting on earth. He suggested this shifting of consciousness would happen in the early 21st century. Many are pointing to 2026. We keep hearing this, and I'm pretty sure that we're in it right now. I'm experiencing that. He said it would be the year the spiritual battle for human agency, free will, reaches its peak. We're standing up for it. We're no longer, this is how things are, and you're not doing this right, and the government's the problem. We're stepping away and saying we're all powerful beings. I can create this. What am I going to focus on? And it's not going to be that negative, manipulative news and all that other stuff out there. We think we are masters of our world. And what I'm sharing with you is ultimately we are. But Edgar Cayce revealed we are actually star children who've fallen into a deep 3D sleep. So no matter how advanced you were when you came here, you have to abide by the same rules. You might have a higher consciousness and awareness, but you still have the forgetfulness. Nobody comes in here 100% without some kind of veils so they can function here. Humans are currently unconscious of the universal spirit energy that Cayce defined as electricity in action. That's reading 900-70. We view ourselves as physical bodies with souls rather than the spirits having a temporary, discardable physical experience. Our 3D consciousness is a controlled hallucination. We perceive only the physical result, completely missing the mind as the builder and the spirit as the life. So reading 440-1 explains that other planets in our solar system don't have physical life. They're inhabited by energy neighbors, conscious souls in higher dimensions. All right. So that's why he said there are no other human life forms or 3D. They're just higher souls, higher consciousness. And so they function differently, go through walls. They can manipulate their bodies and transform. You might see orbs. They look like a human, and maybe then they're an orb, or your little doggy's in there, Nikki. You've seen that before. So it's a university system, as I explained earlier. And in between lives, we learn specific energy laws. We're the only ones currently trapped in the density of flesh by choice. This is a huge task you took on. We're the true warriors of peace. In other words, we're going to come out of the war mindset to go into the peace and realize that's the true power. That Arcturus gateway, it's the developing center. This is why we see all of this out here happening. It's all of these different energy fields. They interact with us in different ways, but they have their own stuff going on. People act like they have nothing better to do than hang out and abduct people, but they all have different functions. And it's primarily to help us develop and not get rid of ourselves and assist in other energy fields. And we'll talk more about this. Cayce stated humans appeared in 5 places simultaneously over 10 million years ago. We didn't evolve from apes. We projected ourselves into matter and remained there, not stuck as a physical body, but stuck in the lower frequency. That's reading 364-11. So 2026 is predicted by many Cayce scholars as the closing of the gate of revelation, the 5th root race, as he referred to it. That's reading 3357-2, that would have a more spiritual body with more chakras open. This isn't a future event. It's a current biological shift. It's happening now. Opening up the chakras, intuition, predictions coming from you, knowing things, being able to heal. It's happening now. If you're not experiencing it, then you have to shift your focus into that, and you will see it happen instantaneously. So Cayce mentioned the Hall of Records, the prediction that the Hall of Records under the Sphinx paw would be open when humanity reaches this new level of consciousness. Same thing with the disclosure on Capitol Hill. They're not going to do anything that's going to destroy our financial industry because people are freaking out. And the same thing's going to happen with disclosure with the Sphinx, the Hall of Records. We have to be ready for it. So our assignment is to raise that frequency, let go of all these stories and this negativity about what's happening out there, and just know that we're all equal playing field, experiencing all these adventures on every level. And you are eternal. You always have been. You always will be. So let's go back to what Cayce said. The mind is the builder. If 2026 is the year we wake up, it's not because of a calendar date. It's because we stop worshiping the physical result and start mastering the energy behind it. All right? I want the car, I want this, and the physical result is temporary. And when you go into the power behind it, these things will appear beyond what you need or imagine, and the physical world will become irrelevant to you because you're going to feel this compassion and love that's on a level you've never experienced before. And you're going to realize that's what it's all about. You are a God in the making. That's reading 281-27. Your neighbors in the unseen realms are waiting for you to remember how to use your light. 2026 isn't the end of the world. It's the end of our amnesia. I'm going to talk more about Dolores Cannon in an upcoming video because she talks about the custodians. How did we get here? Who are those energy fields? We're going to talk more and more about that. But she's totally in alignment with Edgar Cayce. It's amazing that he said this, that we are the only physical bodies and that everything else is on these amazing different dimensions and interacting with us in ways that we will be able to see when we open up and stop going into fear. Fear is what keeps it away from you. And when something does appear and you go into fear, you give it a name and you create a story that's very negative. There's nothing actually negative. There's darkness and experiences. There's emotions. There's loss. This is all by choice. We are choosing to know this because you are the power of the universe. Not you, the person, you, that energy field that is all things that's flowing through me right now. You and I are connected, and you get a choice within that connection, just like a finger and a nose and ear is still on the same body, has different functions. But if we don't get our act together, we will not experience the golden era, but you personally can, even if your neighbor chooses not to. So you're ready to put down the predictions and realize that all those predictions was the archaic way that we were functioning because we didn't believe that we had control over that future. And now we know. So now we don't have to watch the gloom and doom. And this includes the things that are going to happen on this planet as far as volcanoes and earthquakes and stuff. Some of that's still going to happen because there's a lot of density here, but we can lessen those effects also. Let us go into a sustainable, loving world with respect to all sentient beings, from the plant to the ant to the tree, and just do your best. I know it's not perfect right now. We've done a lot of damage, but it can be reversed. And before we go, come on over and join my membership. I'm very excited about that. This is what happens when you order Bite toothpaste. If you go down, I have a discount for you. It doesn't come in a tube that destroys the planet. It comes in this recyclable paper, and it's not poisonous. Did you know toothpaste is poisonous? Yeah, you're putting it in your body. This is it. You chew it. I chose mint charcoal. It's really good. It whitens your teeth. And you just pour this back into a glass container. This is how we need to live, and it's beautiful. You're going to love it, including what you put on your hair. Go down and look at all my suggestions. These are things that I use have made a huge impact on my life and others. Let's share these products and services that are contributing to our planet in the new golden era. If you've got any, share them with me. YouTube doesn't allow spam, but I will get to see them. I'm going to talk about Dolores Cannon next. She's going to blow your mind. But I wanted you to realize we're in it right now. We're creators. We're doing it. Focus on that 24/7 and watch what happens, my friend. It's beautiful and it's happening right now. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you. Go into those pockets. They're loaded with jewels. Namaste.